Okay, so what are we doing?
Making shrouds out of spectra, 1/2 inch, for the masts on the schooner.
Okay, stop trying to not
Fritz.
mumble. Okay, so explain to us what you're doing.
So the splice is buried. It's you have to make it 50 times. The part that gets buried is 50 times the width of the rope. So it's 20. It's 1/2 inch. So 50 times that is 25 inches. So I'm marking at 25 inches. This is a Brummel lock splice. So it's pretty easy to do, especially in 12-strand spectra. So that's the part that's going to get buried, and now the loop that wraps around the mast is, if that would stay over there, that'd be really awesome. Thanks. Okay, is 875 millimeters. That's exactly what I'm doing. So 87.5 is right about there. And nothing is really critical distance, because it gets lashed to the side of the chain plates with 8 millimeter polyester. Okay, so easy peasy. You just open this up like that. I can actually use my fingers because this stuff is so interesting and slippery. And you make sure there's 6 strands on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you feed this through right up to where the size you want the loop to be, and then a little bit past. Then you put an opening in here and do 6 strands on each side again. I'm kind of getting a feel for how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, this one doesn't feel right. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I wasn't right. Let's go pull that one down. It's funny, the first one I got wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now this one, you put the other end, the far end through. So I gotta get a step back, and that locks it. Let me find the end here. There it is. Feed this through here. Just sometimes catches. Pull it through. How is my mumbling?
It's good.
Good. And then you can see that this is locked. And that's the loop that wraps around the mast, just like that. And it can't come loose. And the only other job now is to bury this into here.
Uh-huh.
So you got to bury it in here, and I forgot to take this into account. This gets thicker, so it gets a little shorter. So you actually have to leave this about to here. So we're losing this much length on both ends, which doesn't matter so much. It's not critical, but I should have taken that into account.
When you measured the rope the first time.
Yeah, when I measured the rope the first time, but that's okay. I'm being consistent, and we'll just have longer lashings, that's all. So I like to do it this way, right hand. So this one, we just feed this fid. Yeah, it's a fid.
Show me the box.
I forgot for a second. Yeah, I got a fid kit. It's a Samson rope kit. It does all kinds.
I see.
It's got all different sizes for different sizes ropes. And a pusher, which we don't need for doing this rope. This is so much easier than regular double braid. So just open up a little bit again by pushing it together. Feed this in here. And you gotta make sure you get down the center, don't catch any threads. Or strands, I mean. Strands. I am catching it. Hang on. It's a little bit. I'll have to edit that out if I say anything. Playing pool with a rope. And we have to go all the way to here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see.
Yeah, that mark right there.
Now, I was using a push stick earlier, but it doesn't work as well as just doing this.
Oh, I see. That has.
Jam that in, And then just put a piece of tape. I was using extra, but I left it upstairs, so I'm just going to use this packing tape.
There are actually hair curlers that use the same technology.
Like to feed
I
through
have them upstairs. You feed your hair through,
like a
just
thing
like
like
you did that rope.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we take it right to where that mark is. That should be enough. I left a lot of extra because when you
I see.
and then you sort of milk it through.
Amazing.
And now the really important stage, everybody says, because I've never had one fail, but it will fail if you do not taper it, especially with this rope because it's so slippery. It's got to taper and grab all the whole length instead of just at the very end. So what you do is you take it to here and start tapering. Wait, cut off the tape. Am I still mumbling? Okay, so I take one strand out here, another one here. It's very scientific.
What do you mean by here?
About an inch apart, because you want to end up with like 2 or 3 at the end.
Wow.
It doesn't give a. What it does is it doesn't give you a hard point that there's a heavily loaded area.
I see.
It spreads the whole load out, the whole length. And the rest of them will cut off as we go. And we just, this razor blade's getting dull, but the rest are at the boat. And you just cut off. You think, oh, it's crazy cutting off a rope makes it weaker, but it doesn't.
Well, it's crazy cutting off this rope that costs so much money.
$5 a foot. Okay, and now we'll just pull out another one here. You just don't want them all at the same spot. And it doesn't have to be braided anymore because it's going to be compressed. It doesn't have to be braided anymore because it's going to be compressed. Apparently I mumbled. That's good. Okay, there's 3 left. Let's already just taper those. Come on. Helps if I don't cut myself. And then you just milk it and watch it. This is the coolest thing. It disappears into here.
Wow.
Like a python eating.
Wow.
And now this
That's amazing.
should be about 25,000 pounds it can hold. Because it's about 70%. I think it's like rated at 32 or 35. I don't even care, but it's because it's way over strength, mostly so it doesn't stretch so much. So that's one end. This will wrap around the mast. And the other end's going to have this eye in it. Now, this one's going to be interesting. We're going to put the eye in the other end. Using the same method. You can do it where you don't have to run that other end through, but this one's much better. So this one was getting the usual 25 inches. Because that's the part that gets buried. That. Then this thing takes 22 millimeters. No, 22 centimeters. So I already measured and it was started at 20 and then I made 22. It was a bit too tight. So it goes to here. And it just fits in perfectly. I thought I'd have to whip it on or something, but I still may. So just like before, you run the first one, the short end, through here. And by the way, I learned this all on YouTube. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's one more. Jeez, that's twice now. So you want to get it right in the middle. And then you just pull it open. Sometimes you have to use this to get it in, but not with this rope. And then you pull it just past that, because this is just going to go in here like this. Now we want the other end to go through here, and that locks it.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So I'm just going to go on this side of it because it's a pretty thick rope.
The other end with the loop and all.
Yeah, it's all going to fit through there. 1, 2, 3. You can do it another way where you feed this back in, and that's just as hard. Like if you don't have access to the other end because it's locked into something else, then this is the way you do it. Let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's a little tight getting this through, but this rope is so slippery and so easy to work with. There. And then I just pull that through, and it ends up locking it just the same as the other end. So you've got this, and that eye will just fit in here, and it's locked. Now we just have to bury this section. And once again,
What does the eye attach to?
this will be where we run lashing. I was going to use those wooden blocks, but I don't like them. So I'm just going to run, it's only 4 lashings of 8mm line that get wrapped around this to the chain plates on the side. So we'll go about here because you know how it sort of compresses because it's thicker. So I'll mark where I have to come out with the fid. And this is my 6th one, I think. Yeah, 6th one. So I'm getting pretty good at this. I think I'll put this in now. There's a bit more play in it when I start to get it in. Okay. I would have preferred the closed ones because these kind of have sharp edges, but all the pull is this way, so it's not pulling on it. Okay. Okay, so sort of push it together, and it sort of opens up the weave. Feed it into the middle.
Okay.
Yes, what?
No, you're just feeding it into the hollow.
As close, yeah, into the
tube.
center. Yeah, it's 12 strands that sort of just wrap around each other. Some ropes have double braid. There's a core.
But you're not counting like you did when you were separating it before.
No, this one just goes anywhere. It goes in anywhere and comes out anywhere because it's buried. It's just sort of. I mean, it loses like 25 or 30% of its strength because of this, but the actual one that there's a splice you can do that doesn't lose any strength, or 95% of the strength it keeps. But the problem with that is it slips out really easily. It doesn't lock. This locking creates some hard points here, so it doesn't have the working strength as it would. So you just go a size up, where I've gone 2 sizes up.
I see. Because you like redundancies.
Because I like when I'm in the middle of the ocean, eventually, to not be worried about this. And yeah, it's important. See how it grabs? It's like a Chinese finger trap. As soon as you put pressure on it, it locks down. That's the whole way that it keeps. And the problem with the other splice, you just do a splice where it just runs back in. Problem with that one, as soon as it's loose, it can just be pulled right out. So you'd see your mast fall down. So you don't, I don't think, and you have to whip it, and all the strength is kept by the lashing of it. And this is way better. And to be honest, it's pretty easy to do. Like, this is a piece of cake. And that's a 3/4 inch fit. I don't know how you get a 3/4 inch line in there. This is like 1/2 inch, and it barely fits. So I don't know. I might be missing something. I'm glad I bought that. That was for the mooring line. We have a 3/4 inch mooring line. And same with this one. You just pull out the strand every inch or so. Just as long as it's tapered, it doesn't have a hard spot, and it's way stronger.
Interesting.
You think by taking rope away, it'd make it weaker, but
Yeah.
doesn't. If you just left it like this, there'd be a hard spot right here, and this is where it fails. Every time it would break
Because
here
it gradually wears away at that spot.
It just creates a tension point where the rope has to bend sharply.
I see.
Right there, and they've tested it, and they'll show it breaks there every time. This one, if it would break, it'd break right here, but at the right where those knots are. But these are, it's like way overpowered. And once again, this razor's really getting dull. here. Sweating doing this. I don't think the air conditioning's working that well.
Oh, it's working beautiful.
What do you think?
Mhm.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Must be the pipe tobacco working on me. Okay, so then we just milk this one down, and you can see it disappear. And that is done. Doesn't need anything else. Ready to go. Hold up a mast. It's incredible. And I'm gonna label this one as the aft mast forward shroud. So that's both of them done. All right. And this is the longest one because it holds the mast from falling back, and it's a taller mast. Okay. Just so I remember which one. All right, that's about it. We've got 2 more to do, and then we can raise the masts. Put them up.